Hi there, I'm Justin Pritchard, and today, something ideal for relaxation, the new Lincoln MKC. Here it is, and in a sea of luxury crossover models designed to thrill, excite, perform, and entertain, this is a nice option for the shopper after a luxury crossover that does exactly what a luxury crossover is supposed to do, to relax them. Sorry, I got a little carried away with the intro there. The cabin is quite welcoming, with stitching in blue leather and sculpting in detail all inviting closer inspection, but really it's the ride and the driving experience in general that all seem calibrated to soothe. This tester rode the Lincoln Drive Control System with adaptive suspension, a recipe for good ride quality, nicely controlled body motions, and relaxation since it rides softly, and since the actively controlled shocks fine-tune ride quality in real time for consistent comfort and minimize rebounding after a bump. This means the MKC spends more time planted on its wheels, which means those on board spend less time getting tossed around like a salad. If you find sporty or luxury crossovers to feel too busy or rough, you'll probably like this setup. The engine supports this too. This model runs the available 2.3-liter turbo 4-cylinder, good for 285 horsepower and torque just beyond 300 foot-pounds. Not surprisingly, it works best at low revs where there's plenty of torque on tap, where it barely makes a peep, and where, if you're driving relatively gently, you'll never even hear or feel it. And notably, if you're coming into the MKC from a crossover with a V6 engine, you'll probably find this new Turbo 4 to be more responsive from less revs and quieter more of the time. Plenty of pulling power is in reserve from low to mid RPMs too, making passing and merging a breeze. It is quite a punchy engine if you like, though the sound is nothing impressive if you do work it hard enough to hear anything. This power plant is best at operating invisibly when you drive it gently. And if you fancy a little music on the drive, or a lot of music, then the THX audio system is sure to satisfy. It's an $1,100 upgrade, but reproduces your favorite tunes with power to spare, and enough clarity that you'll likely pick out new details even in familiar songs. And it's a great thing to drive around town. First, even on badly crumbling roads, or most of Sudbury where I live, the suspension does a bang-on job of keeping things comfy. Only the biggest bumps and potholes break the quiet and composure, and mostly MKC feels solid and robust when driving over nasty stuff, not flimsy and harsh and delicate. And the steering is isolated here too, tracking straight and true and not playing tug-of-war in your hands. It's little details like this that reduce your workload and let you just sit back and relax, even on rougher roads. If you're out running errands, you'll appreciate how easy it is to park thanks to a relatively small turning circle and a full parking assist system and a good backup camera. It's also easy to board and exit since you get in and out by sliding directly to one side or the other, and through a big door opening onto slippery leather. It feels like they designed the MKC around the average height of a seated human bum, making entry and exit a cinch. Ditto loading in cargo and gear. Now the cargo area back here is nice and low and deep. It's a generous cargo hold, but the best part is that you load your stuff in at a little bit higher than knee height. Now that makes it easier to just slide things in and out without lifting, and it's easier for the family dog to get in and out too. And there are these little compartments back here that help keep your smaller items organized, and there's a power tailgate because of course there is. And further ahead, decent room for rear seat occupants in almost all directions, though headroom does start to tighten quickly if you're of average or greater height. So far, comfortable, relaxing, roomy, handy, and a worthy driving partner for highway touring or a day of running around. Nicely equipped too, thanks to touches like heated and air-conditioned seats, this massive panoramic sunroof, and the central command interface up here, which is logical, very responsive, and easily learned. This is one of the best, most hassle-free touchscreen interfaces my fingertips have ever met. It sits next to these buttons which your fingertips will also be using to shift gears, and that's a bit of getting used to, but ultimately you will, and Lincoln hopes you'll appreciate how the lack of a gear shift lever opens up more space elsewhere, and there's lots of it near you with proper cup holders where they belong, good at-hand storage for your things, and a handy center console storage bin with a built-in tray. It's easy to stay organized and tidy on the go. So this is pretty much stacking up to be everything you might want in a relatively affordable luxury crossover that's true to its purpose, except for maybe the one thing, which is that when you look around in here, an awful lot of what you see is directly recycled from the Ford parts bin. The window switches, door lock buttons, and instrument cluster are straight out of a Ford Fusion. Ditto the wiper stalk and turn signal lever, and most of the other controls and this entire central command interface.
So on one hand, if you're upgrading into this MKC from a few-year-old Ford product, you'll feel right at home almost instantly. But on the other hand, if you're looking for that upgrade into something more upscale, you might not find this interior quite pulls it off because there is just a little bit too much recycling going on.
A few final notes for you. If safety features like lane departure alert, blind spot monitoring, and a pedestrian sensing collision alert system are important to you, and Lincoln figures they probably are, then you'll be happy to know that they're all on board. With MKC, you've got access to nothing short of the market's latest outward-looking safety systems. And on the safety front, I'll also mention that the horizontal taillight bar enhances your visibility to other motorists in inclement weather, and that's a very good thing. Rounding out the safety is the brake feel. Now, it's not the most precise at the pedal, but the instant and urgent bite from just a little stab on the brakes imparts big confidence. Gripes? Aside from a few too many recycled parts on board, you may find the styling a little plain compared to some competitors. You won't get overly noticed in this thing, and well, maybe you like that. Also, there's minimal fun factor. That's not the point of this vehicle, of course, but punchy engine aside, the quick and lazy steering and soft shocks mean the MKC isn't going to be a good fit for the sporty driver. Comfort first and all that. End of the day, your investment here goes largely towards comfort and safety and quiet confidence in a package that's ready for relaxing travels on shorter or longer trips. Pricing starts in the low 40s with all-wheel drive, and my loaded tester with all the toys came in around 56. Thanks for watching.